So we're going to grab two 12s, and the straighter the better.
Which ones are the 12s? These are the 12s?
All right, so let's throw two of the 16s up on the sawhorses, and I'll get you going on the joinery. We want to avoid the crooked ones for our base layer. This guy right here?
Yeah, that's almost okay.
All right, so when you're working with a man to pick up boards like this, look at me. If you have a free end sticking up like that, rotate it like this so he can get his fingers under it. Well, this is beautiful fur.
Every time I would have like a spiky end or something like that, I'd wait for Brian to put his end up and then I'd do it.
Okay, let's put them on the opposite ends. Okay, grab your tape measure, your square and a pencil, and your saw. Okay, so this is going to be you're going to build a 16 by 4 planter box. We've got 17 feet 1 inch. We got over a foot to work with. That's called the trim. What we need to end up with is 16. So what we have to do is a couple things. We've got to square these edges, square the edge on one side, because you see how crooked that is? That was just a rough cut from a chainsaw.
Yeah.
And then once we get that established, we'll pull off of here, and then I'll show you how to do the exact layout for 16 foot, and then you're going to cut both of these exactly to 16 feet.
Okay. Why do we want them exactly at 16 feet?
Because the boxes are going to be 16 by 4, and there's going to be 12 pieces or so, so they all need to be exactly the same size. Flush cutting timber is harder than it looks. That's why I put those lines on there. I want you to leave the lines so that you have your reference point, and you're going to cut on the opposite side of the line. So remember, when we put an X, what does that mean?
Means that that's the trash side.
That's the
junk
that's
side.
the waste side, exactly. So how I'm going to start this is, now I have a line to follow. I'm going to use my thumb right here, but remember, these are sharp. This is a Japanese timber saw. It's made for this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to since he's cut on the pole, I'm going to put my finger right there above the teeth, and I'm going to get that first cut in there very lightly until I get the saw started. Okay, see how that started right there? Now I'm going to very lightly, with holding it like this with my thumb pointing forward, I'm going to start, and I'm going to be following that line. Now come over here to my left. Once you get, if you do this right here and you're watching the top, you're watching the bottom, you're making any adjustments you need to do, and this will get your saw cutting straight. And when you're starting that up, almost no pressure. Okay, that looks pretty good. Just the weight of the saw. And you're watching the both lines, making corrections as necessary. Watching the top and the bottom. There you go. And lighten up yeah, good. You lighten up your stroke at the end. Now check for your square and see how well you did on your end cut.
What do you mean by check your curves? Like put it along here?
It's not going to tell you anything. Okay, you're checking two spots, right? You're checking this here. So what do you see there? How's that look? You can tell by how much daylight you can see through it, right? Does it look pretty good?
Pretty good. A little bit tall on the bottom.
What about here?
Pretty good.
Perfect, right? Now from our control side, right? Not this side. Why not this side?
Because that's our awkward side.
That could be.
Yeah.
This is the side we pull all our measurements off of. How's that look right there?
Pretty good, but not perfect.
Not perfect, but pretty darn good. See,
And that one's a bit rougher.
right
but
there?
You are kind of tilted. Oh, yeah.
Pretty good. For your first one, really, really good, actually. So what do you want to do with this soil?
Well, what's realistic, babe?
I mean, it's probably really nice soil.
It is. It's great soil.
So we can scoop up a lot of it. Jack's working on the timbers here. He's cutting 4-footers, the end pieces now. And Brian and I are working on this spot. So we're going to level all this out, and then we'll use the grade laser to get the footings right there for the first course perfect, so that we start with a good foundation. We'll get that all laid out, and that will be, we're gonna change our boxes up a little bit. These are 4-footers, so these boxes are 16 feet when they're all stacked together. We're gonna do 12s here instead. So we'll start here, and then in the fall, Lord willing, when she's done with her crops, then we can start replacing those. We don't want to interrupt them right now. We're also going to put a little planter here and clean this up around here. When you got dirt up against your siding, I heard the best way I heard it described was by Samurai Carpenter. He said anything that dirt touches will become dirt, and that's true. So we want to get that pulled away, and a nice planter box in there so she can have flowers in that. And then this will be, of course, we're going to gravel everything once we get it all done, so we can keep down the weeds and be a little bit lower maintenance. Can I step in here for a minute?
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to learn how to do this by hand so that you appreciate power tools.
Well, I appreciate power tools, but I appreciate quiet more.
Just so you know how to do it. So I will show you how to use this today. So this is a Bigfoot, or like a Bigfoot here. It's a much bigger skill saw. Thank you, Ken. This is one of the first times we've used this. We'll cut all the way through a 4-inch beam.
All right.
Where the other ones won't, which is really nice for timber framing because it gives you, you can do it one pass. So one trick you can do here, once you set the depth here, is you can use your speed square as a guide, right? So we're going to follow that. See how I'm holding that with my hand? I'm going to come in here, line this up. So instead of 3 minutes, it's 3 seconds. Okay, now that we're working together, we can get rid of the clamp. We don't need it so much. Okay. So come on over here to my right. You got your pencil and your tape. I'll show you how to do this quick. All right, so what are we cutting here? Come over here to my right. What's our length?
4 feet.
4 foot, okay. I'm gonna have my speed square. I'm gonna have 3 things in my hand. Speed square, and my pencil, and my tape. We'll come over here to 4, right? Now I gotta count for the thickness of the pencil, right? Right there. I'm gonna make my line. Okay. All right, come over here and look. I won't run the saw, but I just want to show you. Okay, see the do you see the kerf there? I'm cutting to the right side of the line, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm using the speed square as a guide to run right down here. Good, double check. I like to see that. All right, take this guy here and put it in your left back pocket. It'll nest there. Put your pencil in your chest pouch. Get in a habit of putting things in the same place. Put it in the same place every time. That way you can don't ever have to think about it. Okay, grab your big saw. Okay, now this guy right here is pretty heavy. Now take your finger off there. Just like on a handgun, when you're not using something, have that finger straight.
I didn't have my finger on the trigger.
I'm not criticizing. I'm just telling you the procedure. And when you're ready, then you cut it. So what I do is I'll bring this over here. So what you're looking for is not like this or not like that, but you want to follow that. Use that as a straight guide. Now this is a big, heavy saw, and it's going to want to wander and push on you. So you have to be really rock solid with this handle right here. And I'm pinching. I'm pinching right here as a stop, and I'm pinching right here as a stop. I'm pushing that up against the edge, right? That way I have a good platform. Now I could tip that up there. See those teeth? They have a little bit of a kerf in them. They actually stick out a little bit wider both sides than the side of this sheet metal. So I'll get that pinched in there, and I'll wiggle it back and forth until that's right in there. I'll pull it back and never ever start the saw with the teeth touching the wood. It'll take off on you. So pull it back a little bit. I'll start it. Good. Until it's done, and then you're good. That was a good cut. How was that?
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've used jig saws and the smaller steel saws and the table saws before, so.
This is a big one. It's a little harder, but that was a good cut. Now measure it. How close did you get? Always be measuring it first, and you can see. Okay, I'm having a tendency to cut a little short or a little long, and then you can make those corrections.
A little bit short.
But well within our limits, huh? Okay, looks good. A little easier than the handsaw, huh?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily easier. It just takes less time.
Takes less time. Problem with the power tools is that the mistakes happen real quick too. Well done. Should we go get some lunch?
Yeah.
Hi, baby.
You say morning, Papa?
Monday, Dada.
Good morning, baby. What are you doing? You have your hat? What are you two up to?
Well,
Oh.
we're gonna weed, of course.
Football.
Soccer ball.
Why are you over here and not cutting your joint?
Because Sweetloaf's really cute.
You go over there and you can play with her later.
I've got some
Sweetloaf,
water
can you
for
kick it? Ready? Kick. Go. Kick it. Can you kick it to Papa? Throw it. Nice. Can you catch?
No.
Nay. So I see she's speaking Swedish now. What are you working on?
Lots of weeding today.
Are you excited for your garden?
I am. It's gonna be fabulous to finally get it done.
See what your son's doing?
I'm very excited. Well, and the reality is when we talk about it's going to be temporary, it's 8 years, right? So it's kind of like countertops. Like anytime somebody says, like, how long do you think temporary is? I'm like, it's longer than you think it is.
She's got her own water now. All right, we'll get to work. You'll be standing around talking to me.
All she wants to do is to eat the berries. You'll notice that all the ripe raspberries and all the ripe strawberries are both gone.
I did notice that, yeah.